Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. My name's Noble, and today I'm kicking off something I've wanted to do for a while. So we all know there's a lot of people with really good aim, but have you ever wondered like how those people got there? What about that process to get there? Me, longtime controller player, Call of Duty, Apex, whatever it may be. You have aim assist, everything is at your fingertips to help you. But there's something about mouse and keyboard that is just a little bit more satisfying every time you get a kill on somebody that is either using aim assist or whatever it is. That you are getting that kill because of your mechanical skill, not because of anything else in the game. And I've played a controller for a while, and just it gets old because it's just such a boring input. You're so limited on what you can do. It's just not great. I've never really actually committed. I played on mouse and keyboard a couple times. I first got my computer, switched from console, playing Warzone, and played on mouse and keyboard for a couple months. But never really completely committed to actually trying to improve at aim, use Kovacs or aim labs or whatever it is. Just kind of did it because it looked cool and stuff like that, but it was just so hard getting into it and the time it takes to get good playing on mouse and keyboard. So now my job, what I plan on doing is actually trying, going into Kovacs, putting in the time, and actually trying to get better and have really good aim. Right now it's pretty average. I think I'm on the voltaics, I'm like bronze. I have one score I think that is gold, and I thought, wouldn't it be cool to document going from not having really good aim to trying to get somewhere to actually have aim that is good, that's kind of respectable, that you can hold your own against controller players in a game, especially like Call of Duty, even though Call of Duty is kind of down in the dumps right now. But hopefully that we can make a turnaround with Call of Duty, but I'm not very hopeful for it. But there is Battlefield coming, so and there's a bunch of other games. It'll just having to figure out what's going to be good. My main focus at the start of documenting this journey is to work through Kovacs. I know Kovacs is a paid version of an aim trainer, but I really feel like it's a lot better. I would use aim labs when I was playing on controller because it does have full controller support, even though it doesn't really feel like you could actually dial in your settings to be exactly the same as how it is in game. So I'm going to work through some different drills, some routines, kind of just seeing what Kovacs has in their sandbox. And then another thing too is I just don't want to be good in Kovacs. There's one thing being good in Kovacs and being a good Kovacs player and doing well in the scenarios, getting a high score in the scenarios, and then there's using those things and them actually translating into the game that you're playing. So I want to be able to translate that from one to the other instead of just getting good scores on the voltaic scenarios. And that's a whole different thing. So I want to make it real too. I want to show how hard it is, what you're gonna have to do to get there. Nothing really ever comes easy. I don't feel like it's just gonna be like a walk in the park, like it's gonna be a 6-month turnaround. But so we'll see the rages, we'll see all that stuff. Missing the aim assist is gonna be pretty crazy, but it's just all part of it. It's part of trying something different and actually honing a craft rather than just relying on aim assist all the time. And even though most of the best Call of Duty players are on aim assist or on controller, Call of Duty is not the only game on the face of the earth, even though it's hard to think that way. Another thing that I think I want to start doing eventually is probably doing product reviews, keyboards, mice, controllers even. I've used a couple of controllers, and there's one in particular I would highly recommend people stay away from, and we'll get into that hopefully later. Maybe even start doing game news. I really wouldn't mind doing some game news, even though that market's really saturated. There's so many people out there to get information from, whether it be about Call of Duty or Battlefield's blowing up or whatever it is. It's just a pretty saturated market. It just kind of depends on how the channel goes. and just kind of showing everybody like what I learned as we go through it. I really haven't seen someone do like a long term from being really bad at games to being good at games. So my hope is that it just inspires some people. Maybe if you've ever felt like, you know, mouse and keyboard seems so hard and like you're down in the dumps about it, or don't even know where to start, that's basically what this is going to be about. You know, if that sounds interesting to you, feel free to subscribe and like the video. Hope you have a good rest of your day. I got this background game